Hi everybody, this is Katie. Welcome to episode 5 of 6, all about the new Sanrio villagers. Today we're going to be working up here in the cliff, kind of back in the woods, because we are going to be putting together Marty's area. He's here right in front of his house, which is super fun, and we're going to be putting a bunch of bees and honeys up here because I think a little bit of a honeybee garden is exactly perfect for our little cabin bear. I really wanted a little more space up here. There's room for me to extend the cliff out. So the first thing that I do is start cleaning up the area by removing a few of the items that are extra, weeds and flowers and things that are up here. And I start going ahead and taking some of the trees down because even if I put them back in the same place, I know that I am going to probably move most of them. And even as I'm doing it, I realize I wanted a little more height behind Marty's house. And so I come back here and I put a couple of the trees down back a little bit further. My plan is to go ahead into the cliff and extend it out further so that I have room to create a little bit more of a themed area around his house. So once I get a few things down, then that's the next focus. I've got a lot of stuff that is down here on the cliff area. I love as I was working, he was just sitting up there on the cliff and he actually just sat there and watched me for a long while, which was so cute. I'm absolutely adoring the new Sanrio villagers. I love having them in my game. It's fun to see new villagers and they're all so cute. So over here you can see where I extended that, just the edge out a little bit, and I'm putting some of the items back down so that they are out of my pocket. And now I'm trying to figure out how to put the path together so that the area up here works the way that I'm imagining it. As I'm working on the path, I decided it would be really cool if the path could go around the tree that was in front of his house. So I already had that in mind, and I knew I wanted a little bit of sort of a tool shed space. Very subtle, very small, not a big or complicated build, just a little bit of a spot where some of the tools would be for gardening and taking care of the bees. And so I used the new hallway bench from the Sanrio stuff and just a wooden bookshelf that I turned around to give it a little bit of a cubby corner. Not a big building, not a big deal, just a subtle little spot where some of the tools would go. And then I start working on the pattern because I want it to wrap around the tree. Now I didn't have the wrap around the tree idea in mind until I got to the area, but I liked the way that putting it around the tree made it look more like it was in the middle of the forest. So that worked out pretty well, and I was really happy with it once it was done. So now I'm just filling in the spots with that spring clover pattern that I'm using throughout my builds here on this island, and I'm putting down the honey trees, or the honey hives. I really like the way that they match the similar yellow and brown tones of Marty's house, which is awesome. So up here, I'm just putting a few plants down. I've got a ton of yellow plants in my pocket that I'm putting in the area that will have to wait till they grow up to see how they look. And I have this pretty little birdhouse and another one of the honeybee models that I'm trying to figure out where I want them to be. I also wanted to use some of Marty's items and put a seating area, and I thought I would go closer to the cliff, but then as I realized at this point I had to put an area together that made me happy. So I'm starting to think about where I might put that seating area. So I drop a couple of the items down here into the tool thing, but I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to shuffle stuff around, and I hadn't decided yet at this point in the build. You'll see I have some of those pots which look like honey pots. I love that. So I decided to go ahead and pick up the birdhouse here and put his stuff down, and once I got it down, I decided I wanted more of that path underneath it. I think putting a path underneath objects that are going down help it look like it's more part of the area, a little bit more intentional. So I picked up everything that I put down and put a little bit of a path underneath it and just kind of extended it out a tiny bit. The objects don't have to go completely on top of the path. They just, at least that front of it needs to be on top of the path to have that illusion work. And then I went ahead and put the honeybee model and the birdhouse back behind. All right, you guys, let's go take a look at how it all came together with the flowers now that they're grown. You can see those pretty little yellow flowers. I love that the yellow pansies had such good color combinations for Marty's house. I think that they are a fairly unliked flower in the game, but wow, did they look amazing with Marty's house. Here you can see I put a couple extra tools down in that space, and then the pretty little yellow birdhouse tucked up behind stands up tall enough to still be part of the area. I really like the way that it came together with those flowers. I hope you guys found something useful here and that you continue creating in this game. Until next time, have the best Animal Crossing day.